Hey there guys, and happy whatever day it is that you're watching this video. So today's coffee comes from the place I used to work at, but it's been almost exactly a year since I was there. So this should be pretty dope, because I don't think I've tried any of their core range since I left. So it's going to be dope. It's going to be awesome, in fact. And I can't wait to tell you all about it, because I'm excited as well, especially after going to talk to the guys and finding out about kind of what this coffee is and the process it was done in. So before I rant at you for a good 10 to 15 minutes, go get yourselves a coffee, kick back, relax, and welcome to Today I Brewed. So, why is this coffee so exciting? Well, there's a couple of reasons. It could be because it's an Ethiopian coffee, which is, as I said before, my favourite kind of coffee to drink. It could be because I'm getting to try a coffee from a place I used to work at, so there's kind of no bias there, because I've not tasted this one before. Or it could just be because it's an awesome process, which I am going to tell you all about. But it was cool to go back and kind of see the people I used to work with and kind of just pick up some coffee. I did buy a bag of their decaf as well, which was awesome, because I drink decaf at work, because I can't sit and drink caffeinated coffee for 8 hours. The shakes are a little bit too much. So why don't we just talk about it? Let's talk about the coffee itself and see if you guys are as interested and as excited as I am. So as I said, it's an Ethiopian coffee, and it's an Ethiopian Guji coffee, which, here comes the butchering of pronunciation. It's from the Banco Machicha, Kircha district in the Guji zone. I'm pretty sure that's how you say those words, but who cares? I've become an expert at butchering pronunciation. The variety is heirloom, and I've said in previous videos before, and I probably should make another video on this about heirloom Ethiopians and varieties in general compared to the ones that have names. But yeah, that's more information I'd like to give in this video, so there will be a video on that. Now, it's a wine processed coffee, and this is kind of where things get really interesting, because there are different kind of methods to the wine process. So let's just go into it, shall we, and just rid you of the suspense of what it is. So the wine process is obviously borrowed from the wine industry, where the coffee is sealed in oxygen-deprived tanks with careful monitoring of the temperature. But the sealed containers are part filled with water, and when the fermentation begins, the CO2 is released and it builds up in the tank. But then what's really cool is when the pressure exceeds the atmospheric pressure in the tank, the CO2 pushes through valves in tiny little bubbles, and this stops any air entering the tank, so the fermentation can kind of carry on, and it reduces the spoilage, because if air was in there it would make things taste a little bit worse and kind of wouldn't make the process go as well as people want it to. The fermentation is dictated by temperature, and it's usually lasting about 4 to 5 days in fermentation. The cherries are then dried on raised African beds for about 15 to 18 days. So that's kind of a typical wine process method. But on the other page of my notes, there is what is called the Duncan Estate wine process. Although maybe it's called something else now, or just called wine process. But in this one, the producers leave the cherries on the tree for an extra 2 weeks to allow a certain kind of over-ripening of the cherries. This process is obviously more labour intensive, and it can take up to about 60 days, which is a long time. The cherries are then collected, and kind of once they look like raisins, they are then depulped and left to dry again until they have the desired moisture content of about 10 to 12%, although you could have 12 to 14%. But this causes a more active fermentation process, and the higher concentration of sugar, making the coffee taste more like wine. And if you've not had wine processed coffee before, I do recommend trying it, because there is a decent similarity, to wine. But before we get on to the tasting and the smelling, I haven't told you how high the coffee's grown. And it is pretty high. It's at 1900 to 2050 meters above sea level. And the tasting notes on this beauty are red wine, mango, peach and orange blossom, which is pretty good. And considering I've had so much mango in coffee recently, I'm not going to turn down more mango, especially when it is partnered with red wine. So now that I've got all that out of the way and I've bored you for a good few minutes, let's talk about the coffee. Let's talk about the brew, and well, let's see how it tastes and smells. Grinding this coffee was quite peculiar, because it kind of smelled like a glass of red wine with a weird hint of mango, which is good if you like mango wine. But it was good. It was a weird kind of a weird combination of aromas to smell. But weirdly enough, it smelled like the body of red wine, which again is quite weird, because obviously we know what the body is when we drink it, but it smelled body-y like red wine. The mango came through quite nice. It smelled like a fermented mango, like there was quite a lot of mangoiness. I didn't really get the peach on the aroma here, nor did I get the orange blossom. However, when it came to brewing it, that's kind of when things got a bit more interesting. Because again, the red wine and the mango was there, but there was more of a hint of the peach and orange blossom in the aroma. The peach wasn't that strong, but you kind of knew it was there. And you can see how good it looks while it's brewing. Like, it looks sexy as hell. Like, that is a good bloom. and the aromas coming out of it were amazing. They mixed really well, they were really full, and it was really exciting because it's like, well, I'm ready to drink this even though it's not actually brewed yet. And I couldn't wait. I could not wait to drink this. But we're here now, and I have a V60 of it. So why don't we smell it? Why don't I tell you all about what it smells like here? So there is a lot of mango, but with that red wine underneath. It's a bit more peach in the aroma here, like really lovely, like vibrant-y peach. And underneath, like way underneath, there is the orange blossom. But unless it's just my like senses really trying to take sweet stuff, it smells a bit candied, like there's quite a sugariness to that aroma. But it smells great. It does smell really good. So let's taste it. There's a lot more orange blossom in the cup. Real nice body. Now that rolls around the mouth wonderfully. Like it's quite a full body. I'd say like medium to full. It's not very heavy. Like it's got a nice lightness to it as it rolls around the mouth. And a really clean finish. Like, and that wininess is there. The wine body is definitely like in the cup. Really getting that peach. With like the hint, I say more of a hint of mango. And then that sweetness at the end of the orange blossom. But again, it tastes kind of candied. Which I'm not complaining about. It's a really good tasting note. But that wininess is really there. Oof. It's a great cup. It's a really good cup of coffee. And I'm not surprised, like, but I guess it's kind of strange that when you leave somewhere and you keep drinking the coffee, you appreciate it more because you're not drinking it every day. But this is a really good cup of coffee. Like, excellent stuff. I could happily drink this all the time. But I do love Ethiopian coffee. This stuff is available still. And you can get it on the website. But this is a really great cup, a really good coffee. So please go and support the people I used to work for and try some of their coffee. Which brings us on to the end segment of look at the packaging. Now, I loved this packaging when I worked there, and I still love it now. It's just a really well put together bag. Always going to be a fan of the cardboard sleeves, but it's great, and it has got the QR code, which will take you to the website. So yeah, lovely packaging, lovely coffee. So I'm going to go and finish this and let you guys decide whether you are going to go and buy some of it yourselves. The wine process is really interesting, and there's so much information on it if you want to go and learn about it. I obviously like to keep these videos reasonably short, so I don't want to go into everything here. But maybe I'll make longer videos on this in the future, which I have said before, and I will do at some point. So if you've not got yourselves a coffee yet, go get yourselves one. Put your feet up and relax, and thank you for joining me on today's Today I Brewed.